Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Charlotte. I am Horace. I am your host, and we are so glad you've joined us today. Whether it's your first time or you've been here before, we just want you to know that we are so glad that you have honored us with your presence right here at CSO Charlotte. So, what I want you to know that today's message invites us to reflect on forgiveness as healing. That's the wonderful theme for today. Forgiveness as healing. And so as we move through this service, I encourage you to just stay tuned and be aware of the upcoming announcements later on. We have some wonderful things to announce. So just stay tuned and enjoy our community this morning. You can go to our website, CSO Charlotte, put in a prayer request, and subscribe. So, before I pass the mic over to our wonderful fearless leader, Reverend Rosedale, I want to leave you with this thought. When you forgive, you heal. When you let go, you grow. Let me say that again. When you forgive, you heal. When you let go, you grow. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to our wonderful, fabulous, fearless leader, Reverend Rosedale.
Well, I love that. You grow when you let go. Oh, that's a fabulous thing. Thank you, Horace the Bush. I love your quotes when you come on to add that to the talk because it does work. I like that. So, thank you, everyone, for being here this morning. And I just want everyone in YouTube to know that no matter what time of day you're listening to us, we are welcoming you. So this is you. This is okay. This is the Spiritual Living Charlotte, the Mind Body Spirit Center, and what we are talking about this month is Native American Heritage Month. So we take the time to honor all cultures that we know about, whatever they're celebrating, and we do take that time to acknowledge them, especially since they were the first people here in America. So these Native Americans are celebrating across the globe, and I want them to know if anybody comes online to see us in YouTube, we acknowledge you and we honor you. So with that being today we focus on forgiveness as healing. Now, the first thing we do is we open up with an affirmative prayer so that we can set the tone. And first on our platform from Riverside, California, is Reverend Sonja Prince. Rev, could you do that for us today?
Yes, thank you very much. And I'm so grateful to be in this community this morning. But as we gather on this beautiful morning, I invite you to join me in consciousness by taking a deep breath, the breath of life, the breath of God that is breathing you, and feeling ourselves arriving fully in this sacred space, this presence right here and right now. As we remember that there's only one life, there's only one presence, one divine emanation, and it is source. It is beauty, it is wholeness, it is love, it is peace that passes all understanding. It is the one of the one, because there is only one. And so, what I know about that power, that presence, that spirit, that love is that it emanates in and through me. I am the love that it is. And because I know that for myself, I know that for each and every person joining us on Zoom, joining us on YouTube, joining in this Zoom room and in this space and everywhere out there, we are all part of the one, divine emanations of it. We get to express in this world, in this incarnation, as spirit. I am expressing spirit as Sanja this morning, and you as you. And so, as we gather here for this beautiful talk that we are so privileged to hear today, forgiveness as healing, We're going to remember our source. We're going to take away from us tools that will help us to know and to demonstrate in our lives, in our everyday lives, forgiveness. And in doing so, we'll get the tools to help us to heal. And once we heal ourselves, that has a ripple effect into the world. And so, what I know today is that this service unfolds perfectly. I know that everyone listening is blessed. And I know that today I am opening fully to the presence and to my heart to hear the words that are going to be spoken today. So I can get it and catch it. Forgiveness is healing. So I bless everyone that has made this service possible, because without you, we could not have a service this morning. So thank you for your sacred service that you pour into this beautiful community, CSL Charlotte. And then taking a deep breath, I just bless Reverend Rosedale for her love, her awareness, the love that she pours into each and every service. It comes straight from her being. And what a wonderful way to co-create and to just share the gift of who she is in the world. And so I bless this service. I bless everything that it unfolds perfectly. And I know that we are here for this divine appointment. I let go and I let God, knowing it's all well and all good. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Sonja, Reverend Sonja. That was just beautiful. So, next on our platform is our reader, Horace, our operations coordinator, which I call Horace the Bush. Now, I know by now he must know that forgiveness is
Mhm.
as he, because he is the reader. So listen to Horace as he reads for us today, and you will understand that that song, "Forgiveness" by Jason Upton, so powerful. Horace, go ahead.
Mm. Good morning, everyone. The reading for today, which I am so honored to be able to bring forth to our community right now, is "Forgiveness, Healing, and Freedom" by our wonderful, fearless leader, Reverend Rosedale Jones. So let's take a collective deep breath. I feel excited about this reading, as I was telling Reverend Rosedale earlier, because as you will hear in a few minutes here, a few seconds actually, that this will dispel many of the myths that we've had. At least I can say what I have had about forgiveness. So be mindful about this reading right here and now. Forgiveness is more than saying, "I'm over it." I want to say that again. Forgiveness is more than saying, "I'm over it." It's a conscious act of release. It's a spiritual healing that frees us more than it frees the person or situation we are forgiving. When we hold on to anger or resentment, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I want to say that again. When we hold on to anger or resentment, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiveness doesn't excuse the hurt or make it right. It simply says, "I choose peace over pain." Forgiveness isn't about approving what happened. It's about freeing the mind, body, and spirit so healing can begin. Pain becomes resistance. It creates energy that settles in the body. Resistance can raise our blood pressure, tighten the heart, and increase stress hormones like cortisol. Over time, we may start to wonder why we don't feel well, not realizing it's the weight of the pain we're still holding on to. Yeah, just think about that for a minute. We keep ourselves tied to the very pain we need to let go of when we hold on to being the victim in situations where we feel we were treated unfairly. That's what you're doing when you keep holding the person, place, or situation as your pain point. Forgiveness doesn't mean we agree with what happened. It simply means we choose inner peace over continuing in the pain. Forgiveness takes courage. Did you hear that? Forgiveness takes courage. It asks us to face our feelings honestly and let go of the story that keeps us stuck. It's not weakness, okay? It's not weakness, it's strength. It's how we reclaim our power and stop letting the past define who we are. So the first step is stop telling the story. As we forgive, we open the door to healing. Sometimes that means reconciling with others. Sometimes it just means finding peace within ourselves. Either way, forgiveness clears space in our hearts for love, compassion, and growth. Here's the truth: forgiveness is not a one time act, okay? Forgiveness is not a one time act, it's a process. So trust the process. It's a process. Some days it feels complete, other days it may return for more healing, and that's okay. Healing unfolds in its own time. So rest assured, transformation becomes easy to move into. In the end, forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. It's the moment we stop carrying the weight of old pain and allow life to flow freely again. Through forgiveness, we find freedom, peace, and a deeper connection with the spirit within us all. And with that, I want to leave you with this quote: forgiveness is a powerful act that holds the potential to transform our lives. I want to say that again. Forgiveness is a powerful act that holds the potential to transform our lives. And that's from our honorable, wonderful Reverend Rosedale Jones. And so it is.
Wow, wow. Forgiveness is a powerful thing. Sharper than any sword, stronger than any war. We're going to start with a short centering and breathe in really deep and relaxing as we exhale really slow. Because you need to hear this one. The first words that Jason sang are grieving is a part of the journey. Oh, it is. On this journey to healing. See, I say forgiveness is our healing medicine on our journey of forgiveness as healing. So when we just, well, sometimes you just can't forget. Sometimes you just cannot forget. Forgiveness is sharper than any sword, stronger than any war. I just got to know that. I just keep saying that. Let it go. Because I'm telling you, sometimes you think, like the reading said, you think you're all complete. Then all of a sudden something creeps back and reminds you, I got to forgive that too. Jason is singing goodbye to who he thought he was before he took this journey to forgiveness as healing. He's saying it's not easy, but he knows it's a gift from his oneness with spirit. When he says, I know it's a gift from you, he's talking about that oneness with spirit that's one in him. He just means divine energy. So deepen your practice and recognize when you're practicing forgiveness as healing, not just I forgive you. No, I am healing in this forgiveness. So it's your choice to forgive yourself and anybody you need to, just to make sure you can heal rapidly and cleanly. I just have one simple question. When will you start the practice of forgiveness as healing? Not just forgiveness, remember? When you're going to start that practice of forgiveness as healing. So we're at choice whether we choose to incorporate spiritual practice to start our journey towards forgiveness as healing or not. But remember, we're talking about forgiveness as healing today. So wiggle your fingers and your toes and integrate your mind, body, and spirit. And as you return back into your own space with your consciousness, check around the space around you and allow something in your space to connect you back to the present moment. Now the talk starts, and it starts like this. Forgiveness, check it out, listen to this. Forgiveness is usually misunderstood as if we're doing something to take somebody off the hook for what they did to us or off the hook for their penalties. Stop that. That can't be. Forgiveness is a profound act of self-liberation, and forgiveness shifts the signal I'm sending or you're sending out to the quantum field. So the field is not a place that's just exists that we can say, oh, the field. No. It's a energy that responds to you. It mirrors your focus and begins to let you know what your attention is on. You're getting that thing mirrored right back to you. That's all it's doing. So don't drink the poison and expect the other person who wronged you to die. Let them go. You heard that in the reading. People think that I'm not going to forgive because he hurt my feelings. She disrespected me. And better let them go. Because all that you're hurting, think about this. Parts of your body, bing, 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 is feeling that. See, the law mirrors back to you based on what your attention is on. So turn your focus away from your past pain and experiences. Because if you don't, all you're going to do is keep repeating those same experiences. People are going to keep doing the same stuff to you over and over and over because your attention is on your pain. Every time somebody, stop the story. Remember he said in the reading, stop telling the story. Here's the thing. Somebody's always telling a story about, oh, and did you know what he had the nerve to do? Oh, you know what she had the nerve to do? How long are you going to keep that painful, hurtful experience in your body? Mind, body, spirit. It's about releasing that grip of resentment, guilt, or anger. Sometimes you have this guilt because, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, forgive yourself. Because all of that builds this little, what did I say? Don't build a condo around it. It builds a little prison around you. It holds you hostage because you are, as soon as you get off the phone or finish talking to them, you're still thinking about that thing. You can say, I'm not thinking about it if you want. But who are you fooling? From what Horace read, he said that when you hold on to anger, it's like drinking the poison and you think they're going to die. And then my quote says, forgiveness is a powerful act. And what does it do? It holds the potential to transform our lives. Because the minute we can but now, listen, it's not just about us saying, oh, I forgive you. Stop. That's just so fake. That's so passe. It's not about that. It's the practice. And you have to spend time in this practice, spiritual practice. It can be difficult and tough at times on this journey, but the rewards are huge. When I'm angry for the first bit, it takes me a minute to get over something. And that's what we got to do. We got to get over it. Because this is what happens. Forgiveness impacts that mind, body, spirit connection that we have, but it impacts it in both ways. It impacts it harmfully or healing. One of those two is happening in your body when you look at the word forgiveness or think about it. Because why is it harmful to the mind? Because holding grudges or guilt comes with a heavy price, and that price consumes way too much mental energy, mental energy. All those negative emotions linked to unforgiveness create this mental loop. It's like, imagine hearing the same song over and over in your mind. It's just creating a mental loop over and over and over, and it keeps you stuck in the past. You never let go of the past. Healing for the mind, what it does when you heal for the mind, when you heal in your mind, it's going to offer forgiveness, mental clarity, stress reduction, and inner peace. Would you rather that? So get to work. Because research shows that spiritual practice improves your cognitive function. You know, a lot of people say, oh, I had a brain fog. Think about this. You can be cooking or doing whatever you're doing, and you're not really focused on what you're doing. Your mind is still talking about what she did. Well, what you're doing is building that brain fog. And then you said, oh, I forgot to put the eggs in. So you go back to the refrigerator and said, what am I here for? Let it go. Forgiveness reduces those symptoms of anxiety and depression. It enhances your overall mental well-being. Mind, body, spirit. The body. And here's the thing about the body. The body reacts with tight shoulders, clenched jaw, right? A shallow breathing. You're not really doing your breath. You're tensed. You get used to that tension after about an hour or two. And so for hours, while you're telling that story, all your capillaries, your blood pressures are tensed up. And it's not just you telling the story. You could be just thinking about it. You even forget that your body has been tight all those hours. So then what happens? These little responses that you're having slows down your healing process. Remember, Horace said, trust the process. Let it go. Chronic anger. That's big. A lot of people are chronically angry. And I'm finding out now how happy I am in my life. Because I said, wow, when I don't get the charge of something that I remember, because your mind is a good memory, it's going to remember everything. But now those things that I remember that I didn't like or that was painful, I don't feel that charge is heavy anymore. It takes time, guilt, resentment. All of this stuff triggers high blood pressure. It triggers that weakness in your immune system. It causes a lot of inflammation. And you know, we got these little beautiful fluids. They just flow through the body. But if you got the wrong mindset, you're going to get the wrong side of them fluids coming down. They weaken that immune system. And guess what else? Sarcopenia is real. If you don't move that body and treat that body well, you lose muscle. One of my clients said to me the other day, I was bowling so well. I said, well, okay, we're going to work on, I see what we got to do with you. We got to get something done with these biceps. The body is trying to protect you, but it needs new instructions. You can't just sit down and go, all right, I'm just going to sit here every day. I'm not going to do anything, da-da-da-da-da. Forgiveness reduces those stress hormones. And there's a bunch of stress hormones, but there's a bunch of, well, I want to call it happy, joyful hormones. But see, here's the thing. When you get good at forgiveness, it does improve your heart health and promotes relaxation and allowing the body to heal and rejuvenate. I know you could say, oh, I'm really happy because I forgave so and so. But what happens when so and so come back to your mind at 3 o'clock in the morning? Are you ready? Because in order to be ready for that, you got to practice, and you got to practice regularly. And as for the spirit within us, forgiveness is entirely healing. Once we convince our ego to take, like I said last week, take a back seat to spirit, forgiveness is just an invitation at that point, and it's to align us with our love and compassion and our understanding. See, when we forgive, we don't just release the other person, we free ourselves, and we free ourselves from such powerful emotional chains of the past. Those are chains. That's your holding you still, right? Forgiveness creates that space for grace, for peace, and spiritual growth. There are many spiritual practices to experience forgiveness as healing. And I got a bunch of them. And I'm going to say them to you so you can remember that, oh, I might want to do that one today. Meditation is one. And you think, oh, I have to sit here and I have to quiet my mind. Stop that. Really think about what I'm saying. Meditation. So here's the thing. Forgiveness meditations, they make you focus on your breath. Did that say anything about quieting your mind? No. When you focus on your breath, you begin to relax and release guilt or anger. You have to do the breathing. You have to not sit there and focus on, I won't think about the. That's not meditation. You're teasing yourself. You're joking. Here's another practice, which is really powerful. It's affirmative prayer. We use affirmative prayer to what? Affirm inner peace and the strength. We want the strength to forgive others and ourselves. It's like I said, it can be tough. It ain't easy, but you have to get that strength, and you're going to know, you're going to affirm how strong you are every time you feel like you can't do it. Every time you feel like, damn, I'm still hurt. Because this is all about healing you. Remember, you're not begging in prayer. You are affirming that you already have that inner peace. Illness is not just to be ill. Illness is coming from your mind's work or lack thereof. Okay, remember that. You got to get this mind work. Okay, here's another mind work. Beautiful. Journaling. To express your feelings, you can start writing letters to maybe people that pissed you off. Yeah, I said that word. But don't send them to them. Just psychologically release them in your mind, or watch the words begin to dissolve right in front of you. And you'll release them in time, but don't think you're going to do it. It's not a one and done. Don't think that. But keep it to yourself. Because when you try to explain to other people how they should forgive somebody, do you? Because if they don't believe what you're saying, you're going to be trying to convince, and they're going to unconvince you of the truth of who you are. Keep it to yourself, because no one understands this work the way you understand your work. They don't believe you, and that's all you got to do is practice. You just practice. My friend's daughter accused her of using witchcraft. You know why? She said since her daughter doesn't understand what she's talking about yet. But when you need to, when your body says enough is enough, you'll listen. So when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So don't be trying to get that. I told her, let her be. You do you. Don't try to explain to her why and how your process of your spiritual practices are. Don't. They didn't ask you that. But here's another part that we got to practice. Compassion. Now, compassion, some people really, really engage in this thing called loving kindness. But you know what loving kindness is? It's this metta, M-E-T-T-A, metta meditation. And what it does is it offers love to you and other people if you really need to do this. Now, watch this. Metta meditation may not speak the way science of mind talks, but it's still nice. And it'll start with you trying to heal you first. You say, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, but may I live with ease. Now, you do this over and over and over and over and over, but then you turn it on to that person that supposedly wronged you and say to them in your mind, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, and may you live with ease. Because the more you wishing it on them, you getting it back. But you got to do it with really concern and really work. Now, here's another thing. There's rituals for release where you can just light a candle and engage in like this symbolic ritual. So find something that you want to represent this anger with and just start saying, I let you go, I release you, and I set you free. Oh, that one worked for me on a lot of instances where I would put the candle and I would bring it up and I'd say to that person, I release you and I set you free. A lot of people think that these little things, we're casting spells or whatever, because they don't know. They only know what certain things their own religion tells them or their own philosophy or what they believe in their own minds. See, we got to take the right steps in order to ease our minds when we struggle with self-forgiveness. Because for about 2 or 3 hours, maybe, after I've made a mistake and didn't want to make that mistake, it wasn't intentional, but this person is whatever, feeling some kind of way. But the first thing I got to do, here's this practice. It's called accept and acknowledge. It's not go beg that person, oh, would you please forgive me? Because they may not. This is on you. So acceptance is number one. It's the first thing you're going to do in this particular accept and acknowledge ritual. You're going to acknowledge your mistakes, and then you're going to recognize your regrets about it and release the shame of it. Again, I release the shame of all of this. I release the guilt that I feel. Whatever it is that you feel like you need to let go of, keep saying it. It's not just going to let go because you say this without feeling. You have to use feeling gets the healing. You have to use every bit of you, but you don't strain. You just become more compassionate to you. I want to heal. So reframe your story and start telling yourself, see your actions as what? Lessons instead of failures. Because a lot of people think that, whoa, I can't believe I did that. Now they think they just did a big failure. Change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. Simple as that. And that's the way it's done. See, now apologize if necessary. But if it falls, because I remember growing up, in my family, I don't know about yours, people, you would say, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, sorry, you said that. Dang, how many, they think you can't make another mistake again, some people. Then you go into this whole sense of, oh, I feel so bad. They're making you feel, they don't have that power to make you feel anything. You're making you feel because you believe in them, how they talk about you. So apologize if necessary, make amends. If they don't hear you, let it go. Get away from them, because when possible, if you can just sit down and write a simple letter to yourself and burn it or let it go, but after you've totally let it go, because when you don't get the charge anymore, if the charge is still going on weeks later, keep the letter, keep reading it. But when you start to feel that relief, that's when you let it go. You have not let that thing go. And then about a month later, you'll go back to that. It'll come back to your mind one day, because they do. You'll start to realize that, wow, I don't feel that charge anymore. Here's another practice, self-compassion. When you speak to yourself with kindness, just imagine that if that were your friend, because you know you treat your friend better than yourself. You got to cut that out too. But if that were your friend, how would you console that friend in your situation? And you tell you, Rosedale, you just awesome. You did the best you could with the knowledge and the understanding you had at this moment. So let yourself go. Let it go. She'll have to get over it. He'll have to get, or they'll have to get over it. But I'm not gonna take this. Measure your growth. I keep talking about the word measure. I wonder, do you hear that? Identify how you've grown from this experience. Start noticing, wow, I would have normally, now this is me, I would have normally, this is the way I used to talk, I would have cursed her out, okay? That's the way I would normally act. So I'm telling me now, I'm measuring my growth right here. I'm identifying with how I have grown from this particular experience because it happened to me probably something like it 10, 15 years ago, and I reacted differently. Now, this is what I'm doing. So now once I realize, okay, I made that mistake again, or maybe not, now I'm getting ready to set some new intentions for it, because now that I measured and I saw my growth, now it's time for me to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do the next time. Measure your growth. It's key. And see, you may feel that also, well, you know what? I don't know all this stuff she's talking about. So you might say, or maybe I don't know, well, I need some support. So if you think you need support in all this, talk to somebody that you'd call a like-minded person, not somebody that's way over there and ready to go with you and curse that person out. No, you don't need that, because that's like antagonizing your spirit. Don't do it. Talk to somebody who's like-minded, or a trusted friend. If you're too ashamed or too hurt or unsure to reach out, remember, this is the most important thing you must remember. Isolation keeps you in that same pattern and you make no change. Making no change is the same thing as being unforgiveness. You have to make that change. Staying trapped in your own beliefs won't move you forward, because the only thing it's going to do is keep you in that pain, keep you in that prison that you only built. Nobody built that prison around you. You did. Growth needs connection with other people. It's just that way. It's no other way you can do this. When I need to process my thoughts and my feelings, I go to people, a person or two, who can really engage with me in real, authentic truth talk. I am not going to speak to people who are like, well, why do you do that? Nah. Now that truth person is the kind of person that's essential for my growth and my transformation. And not everybody speaks authentically, because sometimes people want to say what you want to hear. I don't want to talk to those people who are saying just to make me feel good. I don't care if you tell me that, because that's not taking me to my real growth or insight. I have to have realness and honesty from people. I'm not asking you not to hurt my feelings, because sometimes when that happens, when you do hurt my feelings, it does sharpen me. So stop looking at that baby thing. But remember this, not everybody keeps your stories confidential. So make sure you're talking to somebody you really trust. And when you need that support, talk to someone who holds a space for you while you're talking. Not somebody that's going to say, well, why didn't you do that? Don't stop. Hold the space while you're talking. And then when it comes time, this person is smart enough to know, all right, I'm going to have to take him or her off this story. Now, this is how I do it. I listen to the story. I'm not going to make a peep. Then after I listen to the story, and when they start going on the second round with the same stuff over and over, then it's time to hold that space and ask them, okay, now tell me this, how are you going to heal if you are still remembering the story with this much charge? That person begins to think, wow, this is somebody I can talk to, and this is a trusted person. Nobody hears your story from me. Nobody gets to hear what I know for you, because that's not anybody else's business. Just saying. And so you got to be that person too. that this is not for me to discuss with anybody else if they come to you. Choose someone who resonates with what you know about yourself, not somebody who is asking you questions. So what is this thing you're doing? It's not a thing. This oneness with spirit is the real deal. But you got to get clear, and you got to get that honesty. And then you got the release. So just let go of the guilt and write it down. Remember that, because it's important. I had to say that again because people get this guilt thing. So forgiveness is not a one and done. You heard that. You don't just say, I'm going to do forgiveness for this. No. Somebody just get fired today, and now they're angry with the bosses and everybody that fired them. And now they're saying mad. They're saying, I'm good, I'm mad. I'm not mad anymore. It's a practice. It's a process of peeling back layers, offering grace to yourself. And it's also choosing peace again and again and again. If you got to forgive that person 10 times, choosing peace again and again and again. But as you walk this path of forgiveness as healing, remember, forgiveness is not about forgetting, because let me tell you something, that stuff is going to come back to you. Okay, so remember, it's not just done once you said this affirmation prayer. It's not. Okay, now, so here's where I'm going to close. I challenge you to allow yourself to grasp what it means to move towards forgiveness as healing. Forgiveness as healing is about shaking yourself free from that gravity. And you know, gravity of judgment, gravity of resentment, gratitude of hatred or anger. Yes, you do have those feelings, and stop pretending you don't. I'm too spiritual for that. No, that's not true. What does gravity do to you? It weighs you down. So practice and break free from the gravity of your pain. Make the decision today to practice some of those ways I talked about. I gave spiritual practice. I didn't just say spiritual practice today. I gave a couple of examples. Now we can practice these ways to just give up the need to be right. Oh, that's another thing. You could say, well, I know that was wrong. Give up your need to be right. That's the most painful thing going. Oh, but I read this and this is the article I read. And if they don't know, let it go. I like that. If they don't know, let it go. Then you'll find peace and all good timing. So don't expect much. But here's my question for you. Are you willing to get metaphoric with me? Just take this metaphor. You know I love my metaphors. Are you ready to fly on the wings of forgiveness? Because if you are, there's a song. And this song is named Wings of Forgiveness. And pay attention to these words authentically. Let it rip. You can tell some people, thank you for teaching me love, when they do crazy things. Yeah, because this is going to make you go back to your practice. She said, I spent so much time trying to be right that I was dead wrong. You heard that. I'm just going to bring that back to you so you can hear some of these things. She said, can we humble ourselves so we can break free from this gravity of resentment? She's asking us, the world, as she sings these beautiful lyrics. She said, gravity draws us and holds us. And she said, when we break free from this gravity of judgment and anger, we release ourselves from what holds us hostage. And then we have time to float easily on the wings of forgiveness. Oh boy, she's powerful. And she's saying that the art of simplicity means making peace with your complexity. I don't know if you heard that. Listen, I love it. I keep saying that over and over this week because it was part of my talk, but then again, I heard it. She's saying that the art of simplicity means making peace with your complexity, because we're all complex beings. That's powerful. So India also saying this. She said, well, if Nelson Mandela can forgive his oppressors, surely you can forgive my pettiness. Now, remember that. Things that you really think about is such a big deal. five, no, not even five, 2 weeks from now, you're going to see that that stuff is not that important in your world. So let it go. And I'm so grateful to see so many of you returning back and forth to CSL Charlotte and getting fed. But I'm also grateful for seeing so many of you realizing that, a little donation here doesn't hurt because you're starting to do that. And it is really, really making it easier for those of us who were carrying all the internet monthly deals and the monthly bills and all those things on our own expense. So I'm grateful for that. And like any sacred space, like I always say, it does not matter about perfection, only participation. So that way we are definitely all together doing all the different chipping in, as Alan said. So now here's what we do know. It's the last bit now. We're coming down, we're winding down to the back of the last song. But before we get there, let's talk about today how it was all about forgiveness as healing. See, when you're ready to experience forgiveness as healing, you're going to experience a new life within you, a new spirit that you just feel differently. And I know it because I know people who do, and I do. And I'm sitting here watching me and watching them just grow into this feeling. And they just keep saying, I really do feel good most of the time now. Because at one time, I wasn't feeling good most of the time. But now that I just kept working and I will never stop because it'll always come back. So before we close out, let's recognize being in the flow of life. Because being in the flow of life can be very challenging, but we got to learn how to stay centered, especially when we're self-blaming or regretting. Oh, yes. So this is about us, right? It's really about us. The final song right here is going to come with this powerful message, and it's going to say, does it, how hard is it? If you truly want to walk that beautiful journey of forgiveness as healing and start getting this new vital part of your body, I'm telling you that I'm healthier at this age than I was 20, 30 years ago. So listen to this song, Forgiveness by Matthew West. To forgive the unlovable. Tell me how to reach the unreachable. Forgiveness. That song. Hear it again because maybe if this is your first time hearing it, you probably got a lot that went over your head, but forgiveness. So as we wrap up, that's not what we're going to do. We are going to close out because I hope you heard those words because I heard them loud and clear. So with that being said, we have Sonja, and she is getting ready to close us out. So Reverend Sonja, would you close us out in closing prayer?
Absolutely. And how wonderful it was to be here today. As we get ready to leave this space, I'm just reminded of the beautiful tools that we have just received today in the songs and in the message, forgiveness. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to drink poison and expect the other person to die because I know at every moment I am orchestrating my life. This is the creative process. And so I take away beautiful tools with me today. I can light a candle. I can write a letter and not send it, but the energetic of it. I can I'm just leaving here lighter. I'm releasing. I can say, may you be healthy. May you be happy. I can say, I release you and let you go. And in doing so, I'm giving myself the gift of healing and forgiving. And so I take away those beautiful words of the song and those so positive and inspirational words from Reverend Rosedale. And I don't know about you. She says she wants a friend that tells her how long you're going to keep telling that story or however she articulated it. But I don't know about you, but I want friends like that in my life to hold me accountable for the energy that I am putting out into this world. And so I am so grateful. And as we leave this gathering today, we leave uplifted. We leave with beautiful tools. We leave lighter and clearer in our mind of whose and whose we are and how to navigate this world. And we navigate it through love and forgiveness. So, with a grateful heart, I let go and I let God. And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Rosedale.
Welcome back to Charlotte. So, guys, that was fabulous. But Sonja, you just laid that thing in the shade, girl. Cooled it down, baby. It's not in that hot sun. You did the thing, girl. You put your big toe in that one. And it's so true. I want you to tell me how long you gonna keep running that. Because that'll wake me up in a heartbeat. So, guys, remember, forgiveness. Okay, so as we wrap up our time together, right? Let's practice forgiveness as healing, not for nothing else, for our mind, body, spirit, our healing. Because practicing forgiveness this week and every other week and every other day is going to start walking that journey to good healing. You know why we don't have, well, some people don't have vibrant health is because they think they did part of a big part of the work, but they're not measuring to see that, ooh, this is coming back and it's coming back with a vengeance, pop. Okay, so start remembering that the universe is constantly supporting you on this journey as you walk the path of forgiveness as healing. So until we meet again, start finding the simplicity of living and practicing forgiveness as healing. And so it is.